Hey y'all! Thought we'd pop in today to talk about creating multiple sewing stations and how doing so can completely transform your crafting workflow. Whether you love knitting, sewing, cross stitch, crochet, or you're a multi-craft crafter who floats between all of them, having dedicated work zones can save you time, save you frustration, and genuinely makes your projects more enjoyable. And if you've ever found yourself hunting for scissors, a seam ripper, or a marking pen while you're in the middle of a project, this video is going to make your life a whole lot easier. Crafting is supposed to feel enjoyable and relaxing, but there's nothing relaxing about having to get up every 5 minutes to hunt for something you were sure you had just a moment ago. That's why today we're diving into the idea of creating multiple sewing and crafting stations throughout your workspace, even if that workspace is just a corner of a room. Every task you do frequently deserves its own little home base, and once you get these stations set up, your crafting sessions start to feel smoother, calmer, and much more productive. Let's start with the sewing station, because that's often the heart of everything. If possible, set your machine up in a location where it doesn't have to be packed away after each use. Keeping it ready to go at all times is one of the biggest game changers for productivity. Your sewing machine station should include everything you reach for while stitching. Your machine, the machine needles, the bobbins, the pressure feet, thread, pins, clips, a good seam ripper, and at least one pair of scissors dedicated to snipping threads. When those essentials live right beside your machine, you can sit down and begin sewing immediately without needing to wander off for anything. Lighting is another important part of the sewing machine station. If your space allows, add an adjustable lamp so you can control brightness depending on your project. A small trash bin or thread catcher is also incredibly helpful for keeping the space clean. Many crafters also keep a notebook nearby, something to jot down measurements, project notes, or anything you want to remember for next time. The goal of this station is simple. Once you're in your seat, you shouldn't need to get back up unless you are finished sewing or going to get a snack. Next, let's talk about the ironing station. Pressing is one of the most important parts of sewing. Whether you're quilting, garment sewing, cross-stitching on linen, or even blocking smaller knitted pieces, having a dedicated space for pressing makes a huge difference. Your ironing station should include your iron, your ironing surface, and a small selection of tools you find yourself needing frequently. A lint roller is essential because stray threads seem magically attracted to ironing boards. A hem gauge is incredibly useful for accurate pressing. And yes, you need a pair of scissors here too, because nothing disrupts a good pressing session more than wandering across the room to trim a stray thread. If you do a lot of fine detail work, you might also enjoy having small pressing tools at this station. Things like tailor's hams, sleeve boards, wool mats, or even a tiny craft iron can make your life easier, depending on what you sew. A spray bottle of water or a bit of fabric-safe starch can also come in handy. The point is to have everything you use regularly stored right next to your ironing board, so you never have to leave the station to fetch something. Now let's move on to the cutting table station. This is where the magic happens, where fabric becomes pattern pieces and pattern pieces become projects. A proper cutting station is a place where your tools are always ready for action. Your cutting table should have your cutting mat already laid out, along with your rotary cutters, fabric scissors, rulers, and all of your marking tools. This includes chalk, air erasable pens, heat erase pens, and tracing tools if you use patterns that require marking. Keeping your rotary cutters together in one space is surprisingly important. Even if you don't use them every day, having them stored consistently ensures that when you do need one, you're not asking yourself where you last put it. The same goes for rulers. Instead of having rulers scattered across different parts of the room, try storing them upright or laying them together so you always know exactly where they are. This station is all about preparation, measuring, tracing, cutting, organizing. And when it's stocked with the right tools, the rest of your project just flows. Pattern weights, if you use them, should also have a permanent home on your cutting table. So should extra rotary blades, because dull blades slow you down and increase your chances of inaccurate cuts. Keeping a little basket or drawer on this table for pattern pieces is also helpful, especially when you take breaks during a project. A clean cutting space is a happy cutting space, and giving every tool a home encourages you to keep the area organized between projects. Now, although the three main sewing stations are sewing, ironing, and cutting, fiber artists often benefit from having additional stations, especially those of us who work in multiple crafts. One useful addition is a hand sewing or a needlework nook. This can be as simple as a comfy chair with a good lamp beside it, but having your scissors and your needles, your floss organizer, and small tools right there makes the experience more enjoyable. If you cross-stitch, embroidery, knit, or crochet, a dedicated nook with your tools within reach can make your crafting time feel restful instead of chaotic. For knitters and crocheters, this nook might include a yarn bowl, stitch markers, measuring tape, row counters, and a small basket for ongoing projects. If you cross-stitch, you might want a daylight lamp, a magnifier, and a small container for your floss and snips. This little station can quickly become your favorite corner of the crafting room because it's where you relax with projects that don't require a machine or a table. Another helpful addition is the notion station. This can be a shelf, a drawer, or a rolling cart, but having all your extra supplies in one place is amazing. Things like zippers, stabilizers, interfacing, binding, elastic, buttons, snaps, and spare needles can all live together so you always know where to look when a project requires one of them. When everything is organized by type, you waste less space searching and spend more time creating. The real benefit of multiple stations is that they eliminate constant interruptions. When your tools live where you need them, you stop breaking your focus. You can stay seated longer, stay in the creative flow longer, and enjoy the process rather than feeling like you're switching tasks every 5 minutes. Your hands stay busy, your mind stays engaged, and your project moves forward consistently. You don't need a huge studio to make this work. Small spaces are perfectly capable of hosting well-organized craft zones. A rolling cart can become a sewing machine station. A fold-down table can become your cutting station. Wall organizers and pegboards can hold tools without taking up floor space. Even labeled baskets or bins work beautifully because you can easily grab the one you need and take it to your workspace. The key is consistency, keeping the same tools in the same place every time. Whether you craft in a spare room, a living room corner, or at a dining room table, separating your stations helps your brain separate tasks. When each zone has what it needs, you spend less time searching and more time creating. That alone makes your craft time feel calmer, more intentional, and far more productive. Well, y'all, that's about it. Let me know in the comments what kind of crafting stations you have set up, or which ones you're excited to create next. Happy stitching!